if Para-Brahman is the true reality, then why do we hear of God incarnating as a particular human? Isn't everything and everyone equally God?
Um, we, so long as we know everything, so long as we know multiplicity, we don't know God, because God is one without a second. Ekam eva advaitiyam, it's said in the Upanishads, one only without a second. So long as we know multiplicity, we don't know God. So yeah, it is true, everything is God, but so long as we know God as everything, we don't know God as he actually is. Only when we know God as the only thing will we know him as he actually is. In other words, when we see nothing other than God, that includes ourselves. That when we become God, when we experience ourselves as God, the only one, then only we truly know God. Um, that's the answer to the last question, which is, isn't everything and everyone equally God? Yes, but though everything is God, we don't see everything as God. We see everything as many things. God is one. So long as we see multiplicity, we are not seeing God. Or we're seeing only God, but we are not seeing God as he actually is. Regarding the first question, why do we hear of God incarnating as a particular human? Bhagavan is God. I take Bhagavan as an example. Bhagavan is God. We are also God.
Mhm.
Hitler is also God. Stalin is also God. Are we to say that yes, in a sense, we're all equally God, but don't we see difference between Bhagavan and Hitler, or Bhagavan and Stalin, or Bhagavan and ourselves? We see differences. So long as we see differences, we are not seeing God as he actually is. So though Brahman is the only true reality, it sometimes appears in human form in order to give us teachings, in order to tell us, in order to, you yourself are Brahman, and in order to know Brahman as it actually is, you need to know yourself as you actually are. If you know yourself as you actually are, then you will see everything as Brahman. Now everything is Brahman, but we don't see everything as Brahman, do we? We see everything as many things, not as the one and only thing. So long as we rise as ego, we experience the duality of subject and multiple objects. In order to go beyond this duality and to see the underlying reality, which is non-dual, one without a second, we need to turn within. And in order to, because our attention is going outwards, God appears outwardly in human form in order to tell us to turn within.
I really appreciate this question, Michael, for a specific reason. As a journalist, and especially of spiritual interest in my career, I've done maybe 500 plus interviews with spiritual people, many following Ramana and other teachers who teach Advaita Vedanta, non-duality. And I have to say that even among those people, this is a huge hill to climb. And I don't find very many people willing to talk about the one specific point, as you pointed out, that they are God, that you are God, that I am God, that there is only God, only.
Yes,
Um, do you still find that somewhat prevalent?
I don't know, because I'm not a journalist and I don't interview people. Um, it's that obviously, as a person, Ted is not God, Michael is not God, Nick is not God,
Right.
but
Essence is, though.
the reality of all these things, the underlying reality of all these things is God. And that underlying reality is what is shining in each one of us as I.
Yeah.
That I is Brahman, not what I takes itself to be. Now I take myself to be Michael. But Michael is not what I actually am. What I actually am is Brahman.
So part of the hill that's big to climb is the realization not only that one is God, but that one is not Michael, that one is not
Yeah,
Ted.
exactly. It would be
So it's
meaningless to say
great.
Ted
Yeah.
is God, Michael is God, Nick is God. How many gods are there? Then we've got multiple gods.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Very
God,
good.
Michael is a
Go ahead.
limitation, Ted is a limitation, Nick is a limitation. The most basic definition of God is what is infinite. He's without any limits whatsoever.
Yeah.
Because he's without any limits, nothing is other than him. So he is everything, but he's not many things, he's one thing. So when we see many things, we are not seeing God as he is. Only when we see God as the only thing, one without a second, then only we see him as he actually is. And to see him as the only thing means we have to see him as ourself. Because so long as we see him as another, we've got two there.
I'm still shocked to find
So
many
we can
people.
know God only by being God.
Yeah.
And being God
Many
means
people,
not rising as ego.